services. The jet, a small Cessna, originally took off from Teterboro Airport, New Jersey. It slammed into a military neighborhood, destroying homes and cars a little after 3:45 this morning.
And here's what we know so far. Multiple people are dead and dozens are evacuated. Now, those people said to be in that airplane, the ones who have perished. We have team coverage this midday. NBC7's Nicole Gomez and Audra Stafford, as you can see right here, are at the scene. Our Dana Williams is at Miller Elementary School, which is about a mile from the scene. We begin, though, with the very latest with Nicole on what we know.
Yeah, so of course, we're still waiting for that press conference, as you mentioned, expected to start within the next 5 minutes or so. And the biggest question will be just how many fatalities are we talking about? Earlier this morning, you were with us when we brought that press conference to you live when they said multiple casualties. We're hoping to find out an exact number in the next few minutes. Let me go ahead and step out of the way here to show you what is going on behind us so you can see just the amount of devastation. If you were with us during our morning show, you kind of saw a little bit of this, but now that you see it in full daylight, you can really take in the amount of damage on this street here. This is where that Cessna plane landed, just down the road here. Numerous cars out of place, and you can see all of them that ended up catching fire. The plane eventually came to rest down the street here. It started, or this happened around 3:45 this morning. As far as we know, and investigators told us this morning that it was only the people on board the plane that died. No one inside any of these homes even sustained serious injuries. We were at Navy Exchange earlier this morning where I did see some people being treated, but none had to be taken to the hospital. So it's really quite a miracle of what we're talking about this morning. This pilot was able to crash land sort of in the middle of this street right here, somehow managing not to end up directly hitting any of these homes. So this could have been much worse. And I understand the press conference is going to start right now, so we'll go ahead and listen in.
For units with the priority of rescue, saving lives, and preserving property. Next, I'm going to have my Assistant Chief, Dan Eddy, come up and explain the operations that took place moving forward from that point.
Morning, everyone. Crews arrived on scene just after 3:47, about 3:55 this morning. What they found was behind you, the scene that you see behind me right now. We had a plane that had come through this neighborhood, taken out one home. We had one home on fire, multiple cars on fire going down the street. We initiated what's called an Alert 5, which is an upgraded for a plane off the runway. We started the Alert 5, followed that with a second alarm to ensure we had all the units here. It's 3:45 in the morning. Our worry was the fact that people are home, people are living in their houses, and we want to ensure that we had all that done. We started initiating the fire attack while at the same time going inside each structure behind us and ensuring that they were cleared out and we had no one inside those structures. Once we had an all clear on those structures, we focused more back into the street on the cars that were on fire, because for us, our main concern is ensuring that we get the citizens out and get those rescues complete. Crews did a great job working with San Diego PD to start evacuating the neighborhood and with the military to ensure that we are doing the right things to work with the military on that.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll get you right back to that news conference when we establish a better shot. Meantime, we have a number of reporters on the scene.
Dozens of people were evacuated, and some have taken refuge at a local church.
NBC7's Audra Stafford was at the Murphy Canyon Chapel. Audra is, I believe, joining us now. Audra, military families, these are military families who've either lost their homes or many more who are just kind of living in limbo right now, wondering when they'll be able to return home.
Yeah, and I think that's really the biggest thing. Fortunately, the folks that I spoke to this morning, a couple of them had lost their cars. I mean, that's not fortunate, but they were just saying, you know, thankfully it was just our cars. It was just stuff. It wasn't any worse than that, because certainly there were there's the one home, certainly that was, they just talked about that was hit initially, but earlier we heard upwards of 10 homes, potentially even 15 homes damaged, multiple homes lost. So certainly a lot of loss here in this incident. So I just want to take you down the street here, just beyond where I am. I'm right along Santo Road, right next to the Armed Services YMCA, and you can see there is still some pieces of the plane in the street here. That's why Santo Road is still shut down. And the spot that I'm standing in here right now, we're going to just kind of spin you around, give you a lay of the land. This has actually kind of been the command post throughout the morning for all of the different emergency crews, hazmat, San Diego Fire, San Diego Police, the Sheriff's Department, CHP, everybody that responded to this has kind of been posting up here as their command post. And then this is right next door to the Murphy Canyon Chapel. And this is where some of those evacuees have been staying. We want to send you back now, though, to that news conference.
And certainly this area will be down for some time based on NTSB investigation. We have continued to communicate through our Family Information Call Center at 844-523-2025. Liberty Military Housing has also released red flag messages to the families so they have the latest and greatest information. The base continues to message via our internal communication system as well as social media. Again, just want to thank the local community for supporting the military families and everyone for all that you've done. With that, I want to turn it over to Councilmember Capilla.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Raul Campillo. I represent City Council District 7, which includes the Tierrasanta neighborhood and Murphy Canyon neighborhood. San Diego is home to one of the largest installments of United States military active service members and veterans. And in this particular neighborhood, we had dozens of active duty families that are suffering, that suffered some injuries, and their homes have been destroyed. But the city of San Diego, our employees, along with the military and the school district, have been well coordinated from the early morning until now, and we will be throughout the rest of this tragedy. With the very sad loss of life from the plane, we know that there was many miracles and many heroic actions from our police department, from our firefighters, and the military members themselves. I heard stories over at the school just near us about military families helping military families out of their home, jumping out of windows, avoiding fire. These are families that San Diego values, we're proud of, and we're going to continue to support these military families who are from all over the country, but live right here in San Diego. As you can see, the damage behind us is incredibly significant, was life-threatening, and thank God nobody on the ground was killed. We're going to continue to support them through our City of San Diego personnel, our first responders, and I really encourage people to donate, to call in to our offices at City Council, the Mayor's office, to find out how to volunteer and help in ways like that. These people are going to be recovering for a long, long time, and the City of San Diego is going to be here to support them. Thank you for being here, and I know we're going to take some questions.
Okay, just a few questions.
Yes, I have a question regarding the recent tweet from the San Diego Police Department. It says that there are 2 dead now and 8 injured. Can you confirm that? And are the 2 dead from the plane?
At least.
So that is what we have at this time. That's what we release. And yes, that's why we put that out. So that can be confirmed at this time. That is the latest update. There will be a press release that will come out later on with that information as well.
Can you say that again? Can you say it?
So to confirm 2 dead at this time. And what was the rest of that?
And I'm sorry, 8 injured?
Yes, confirmed 2 dead and 8 injured at this time. We've lost 2 souls.
And who was on the plane, who was on the ground?
That is still under the investigation at this time.
Do you know how many people were on the plane?
We're still discovering that.
And the people are injured. What are the state of these people that are injured? Critical state, minor injuries?
Right now, they're still being evaluated.
I can step in on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
On the injuries that we had the 2 confirmed fatalities right now. We do have 6 that were injured. 1 was transported of the 6. The other 5 had minor injuries, were treated on scene and released on their own. So right now, that's what we have right now. The investigation is behind me on the fatalities is still going through. Were all the deaths on the plane? At this time, we don't know because we still have to identify who we have on the fatalities right now. But on the plane itself, that's what we'll do. That's why NTSB is here, working with other federal agencies to identify who's on the plane. Some of the injuries were people that were on the ground. All the injuries that we treated were people that were treated at the evacuation center. There was no one transported from scene. I can tell you this, the military families did a phenomenal job as firefighters were getting on scene to help one another, get people out of houses and going. I cannot commend them enough for what they did on scene. For us on scene, we did not transport anyone off the scene. Everything was done at the evacuation centers for any of the medical needs that were done.
Can I just clarify?
1 person was transported, minor injuries was transported from the evacuation center.
So, sorry, can I just clarify on the numbers real quick because we have, like you said, 2 dead, and then there's been varying numbers with the injured. So
Yeah.
if I understand it, it's 5 people were taken for I was told smoke inhalation to the hospital, and then we have someone who was injured climbing out of a window. So that would be 6, and then 2 people treated for very minor injuries at the scene. So that would make it 8. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm sorry. It is 8 total. I was thinking 8 in my mind of the 2 fatalities that were with the other one. So yes, it is 8 total on there.
Sir, for those of us that are out of town, can you explain to us a little bit about the community here? Is this temporary housing for the military families, or is this permanent housing for them?
So this is permanent. Yeah, if you want to say what they are.
Yeah, great question. So this is a military family housing neighborhood, and we have over about 2,300 family homes that are here in San Diego, and they work at various installations around the Metro San Diego region. Well, they are here as long as they're stationed here in the San Diego area. So it could be a year to many years.
Can we get confirmation on those numbers again?
Yes,
accurate and how it is? Yeah. So how about this? What number did you just say right there?
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's okay. All right. So we had 8 injuries and we had 2 fatalities is where we're currently at right now. So 8 injured, 2 fatalities. One of those injuries was transported. That's our current numbers. We're still assessing. Our main goal as the fire department, especially with the evacuation center, is people who moved here. It could be hours later that people start feeling symptoms or start feeling what they're doing. So we have EMS teams with them the entire time. So that number could change as the day goes on too. There could have been something in the last 2 minutes as I walked up here. But in this current point right now, what we're going to do is follow those individuals that have been evacuated and make sure that everybody's okay throughout the whole thing.
Where's the NTSB here? Do you know?
The NTSB, I believe, is en route right now. FAA is currently investigating behind us right now as they're walking through the scene.
How many homes were destroyed? How many homes were actually destroyed?
So the one permanently destroyed is this one right here behind us. We have damage to multiple homes down to the west of us on the street. That damage will be assessed. Our main concern on that damage, I don't know the full extent of the damage because our job is to preserve the scene so NTSB can come in and do the investigation. We removed everybody from the scene, blocked it off right now. We will have better numbers on the full damage of homes after NTSB comes in and starts doing their investigation. It is just this block right now, but we have a large debris field that covers multiple streets.
There was dense fog this morning. What do we know? There's a clipped power line that's being reported. What do we know as this plane was landing toward?
So as I came in this morning, when I came in this morning at about 4 o'clock, there was very dense fog as we came in. And some of the individuals are here were the same time. It was dense fog throughout the whole plateau that we had up here. We do have a clipped power line behind us. NTSB and FAA are looking into that to see if that was part of the problem as it came in. They will have a better understanding of that as they do the investigation.
Where's the report that they're going to be staying in the meantime? I know that you guys had mentioned they might be able to come back as early as today, but where are they going to be staying, especially in this destroyed home?
Yeah, we are actively working with all military families affected, specifically within this region, because they may be out of their homes for a while. So we're actively collaborating with Liberty Military Housing, as well as the Red Cross and others down at Miller Elementary to put them in proper lodging overnight. So that may be hotels. Some of them have chosen to stay with family and friends. So there's a lot of different options. But we will ensure that they have proper lodging tonight and all the support they need.
And the Navy will be putting that bill for them, or Liberty Housing?
We will properly care for them. Yes, ma'am.
Is this Navy-owned property, or is that correct to say?
No, it's San Diego jurisdiction here.
Okay, but it's Navy-owned housing.
Correct. Yeah.
What you learned about the airplane? There was a lot of talk. It was from the Midwest. Can you share what you've learned about the plane itself and possibly the people aboard?
No, all we had was that it was launched out of the Midwest and was here for San Diego. The FAA or NTSB might have more factual information. I don't have a wing number, any of those other things that are on there. What we know is it was launched from the Midwest, was en route to here, and then we got the call at 3:45 in the morning.
How many was Montgomery Field closed at that time? I mean, Air Tower controlled?
Air Tower was controlled, but they have the ability to come in with it being closed by being able to radio in and open up the lights on the runway.
How many passengers were in the
report
plane?
that the weather system was not working, and the air traffic control told the pilot coming in that it wasn't working. Have you heard that? Do you know anything about that?
I know nothing about that. I know the rescue side of it, and we came through. Hopefully FAA or NTSB will have that answer for you.
Do you believe that anybody on the plane survived?
I don't know on that point right now. I can tell if you look behind me right now, I don't know on that point, but no, I don't believe so.
How many passengers of the victims so far?
No, I don't.
How many of the injured are from this house?
Any of the injured are from this house behind. I can't really say if they're injured from this house behind. I have to keep that private.
Were all of the homes occupied?
I believe all the homes were occupied. We did searches of every single home as we came through. This military housing area that is here is constantly occupied all the time. It's a very busy area, but I believe all of them were occupied.
How many passengers were in the plane?
We don't know how many passengers.
I don't know. If you look at the plane, the path that it took behind me here, you can see that its trajectory came through this direction, took out the front of that house, and it ended up here to the right behind me.
When I walked around, I didn't find any big body of the plane. I saw like a little bit of fiberglass over there on Santos Street, and then of course this panel out here. But is there any other part of the plane that what parts of the plane are still out here?
There's plane everywhere. Our debris field is very large. That's why we have multiple blocks that are blocked off right now. As you guys would expect, when you have something that large coming in with that amount of speed, we're going to have a lot of throw that goes every which direction. Our goal with this is to fly our UAS, which you saw, which are unmanned aerials, over the top, to ensure we're looking over the tops of the houses. We're looking everywhere in our neighborhood for any type of debris. I can't give you a field because we're still searching ourselves to find out what that footprint is.
So you don't know if there's a big part of the body that's out there somewhere?
That's not for my investigation. We're just looking through it and seeing.
Can you tell us how dangerous it was with that jet fuel? And also, I believe you have one vehicle that firefighters couldn't put out. I don't know if that was an electrical vehicle. Can you just tell us the challenges you faced?
Yeah, so challenges on scene like this are just like anything else. They're incredibly dynamic, right? As we're coming in, we have a plane that has crashed into a residential area. So our goal on this is we treat this a lot like a wildfire. We're going to division it off. We're going to section it off. We're going to send multiple units to different areas. We're actually going to throw the world at this too. We're going to bring every medical unit that we can and every engine that we can because we want to ensure the safety of the citizens that are here, right? When crews first got on scene, we had multiple cars on fire. We had the house on fire behind us as it was going down the street. The car that was down the left, I don't know whether it was an electrical car or not. I just know that it was stubborn as can be, and no matter what we could do, we could not get that fire to finally go out as we were going through it. But when crews first arrived, we did have dense fog. So as they came down, you can imagine the scene of what they saw with what was behind them, a house fully involved with a plane through the middle of the street. So it was, I commend the crews. I commend the fire department, the police department, the military that came out here, the citizens themselves too, because anybody, it's tragic to see that behind you. Whether you're involved in it, and I feel for the people that are in the plane that had that were a part of this, but whether you're involved in it or not, just normal citizens that are here, they're going to remember this the rest of their lives. But they did what they always do. The citizens of San Diego are amazing. They came out and covered for one another and took care of one another.
How many families were evacuated?
I don't know how many families were evacuated right now. We can get you that number lately.
Can you describe what it was like for first responders when they first got here and what was their priority as soon as they got to the scene?
So our main goal when we are on scene is life. We want to save life, right? So first crews that got on scene and the engines that got on scene found the house on the corner that was on fire, immediately started to search that house and knock down on that house because they know that that's our top priority as we go through to see if someone's in there. Our goal was to get through every single house that we could and search them to make sure that everybody was out. Once we were confident in every single one of those houses being cleared, then we focused back into the middle of the street and started focusing on the cars, property, right? Life is our number one priority. So we're going to go for those first and ensure that we have any sort of rescues that we need to initiate and get them out. Those crews did that with multiple units down both sides of the street. And then you never know, we could have stuff thrown in both directions. And as we go through those directions, we put multiple engines and trucks down our side streets to search those streets too.
Was that home occupied?
The home was occupied at the time,
Do you
yes.
know how many people were in there?
No, I don't.
And what happened? What did you hear about how they got out?
So what I heard is just like anything. It was, for me, it's a little bit of a miracle, right? A plane hits your house. I don't know exactly how they got out, but I do know that neighbors helped them get out. And that's the beauty of what I love in this neighborhood too. And military looking out for one another. They did exactly what they did to try to help each other.
Do you get family?
I believe so.
And that this is a military community.
Yeah.
How crucial is the fact that they're trained for emergencies? They're trained for complicated things. Do you think that played a role in making sure that they were helping each other and making sure that everybody was safe?
I think it absolutely does. I think any sort of that background that you have behind you, right, to help you stay calm in a stressful situation, just like the military, just like San Diego PD or any other public safety that's out there, I think it helped. And so as we came into this neighborhood, you could see that. You could see the love for one another in this neighborhood.
When you say it was a family, do you know if there were children in this home?
No, I don't.
Can you confirm the time of the impact again?
We got the first call at 3:47 a.m. is when the first call came into our dispatch center.
I have two questions. Did it appear that the plane hit the house actually or clipped it? Or
No, that'll be for NTSB to decide when they get here and see if it actually hit the house or not. That's not for us to investigate on it. When my crews first got on scene, they did a great job to just attack the fire and get after it.
And did you guys see when you're on scene that the jet fuel, was it in flames just rolling down the street as the cars ignited?
I can tell you when I got on scene, you could see about 40 feet to 50 feet ahead of you. So if it's rolling down the street, I don't know whether it was rolling down the street. What I do know is when I got here, I saw multiple cars on fire and that area was just getting knocked down by our crews.
Is there any timetable of when we could hear from the FAA? Because we've been here since early this morning and we heard that they would come to speak with us sometime soon, but now we're in our third press briefing and we still haven't heard from them.
I don't, not for me to say, I don't know. I do tell you this much behind me that they are investigating behind and I will try to get someone back here. We'll work with our PIO to get someone back here for you.
When do you think it would be safe for people to come back given the strong smell?
We did have a clipped power line off our main line out there. We still have good power from SCG&E has assured us that we still have proper power running through the area through here. But yes, it was a main line that was hit.
Approximately how many houses were evacuated? Just a number?
I don't know. I don't know on that side. It was multiple. We evacuated everything south of here. Every single house south was evacuated. 2 blocks west was evacuated all the way to the 15, and 1 block north was evacuated to us. For us, we wanted to make sure that we had everybody out. So if anything did start to grow or anything changed, that everybody was out of their houses.
Someone described it like a movie when they arrived. Can you kind of give us a description of what it felt like, smelled like?
It's not Hollywood.
You smell this? You smell this right behind me right now? What you smell right now of that burning, that's what you're coming into. You smell that off-gassing as it's coming here with the sun and everything starting to push up. It's for us, for public safety, we're used to that smell, right? We're used to those types of things that are out there. For the public, I'm sure it was. If you only look 50 feet behind me, your mind would start thinking of things anyway. So imagine that when it was actually occurring. Yes, it was chaotic.
This is not the first time that we have a plane crash. Compared to the other ones that had been more to eastward, and this being in a community, I mean, how do you rank it? You know?
I can't rank. I won't rank anything. What I will say is the amount of incredible work that is done by first responders that come out here, whether it be a plane that's out in the middle of nowhere, whether we have brush fires or anything else. I can't rank a plane crash because to me that's my heart couldn't let me do that, right? Type thing. What I do know is that when we came out of here, the best outcome that we had for individuals that are on the ground, I feel for the family that is in that plane and what they're going through right now. I can only imagine that. But on the ground itself and the individuals here in military housing, we had one of the best outcomes that I could possibly say that came from this, because when I was coming on scene, I did not expect that same outcome as I got here.
Okay, guys, that's going to be enough. We're going to provide more information electronically. We don't have another media briefing planned yet, but we'll let you guys know. But like I said, we'll provide more information electronically as it develops. We can't speak for FAA. We can't speak for NTSB. I'm sure they have their own public affairs officers that you can reach out to. But again, so we'll let you guys know. That's one of the reasons why it's evacuated, to keep people away from the smells and whatever hazardous issues there may be here. So it'll, as the chief mentioned, it'll be evacuated. Again, we'll release information electronically. Thank you.
You've just been listening to a press conference there, giving us the latest information on this airplane crash, the small jet that crashed into the Murphy Canyon area. We have some new information to share with you from our NBC7 Investigates team about the owner of that aircraft, but it's unknown as to whether or not the owner of that aircraft was indeed the pilot. And the company is registered to Daviation LLC. It's an Alaskan corporation. There are 2 addresses here in San Diego and in Alaska. Our Investigates team went to the San Diego address, but did not get any results. And so the owner is David Michael Shapiro. He is said to be a registered pilot. He also teaches. So once again, David Michael Shapiro, but it's unclear as to whether or not he was the pilot. But it's an Alaskan corporation with 2 addresses here, one in San Diego and one in Alaska.
The fact that 2 people were killed, at least, that was new information from the news conference. The fact that 100 people right now are out of their homes with no timeline on when to return is one of the issues that NBC7's Audra Stafford has been talking about. Audra, we were talking to you just before we went back to the news conference there, so we want to let you finish your train of thought here. But certainly, while the deputy chief said this is a best case scenario for the neighborhood, it's still hard for these families who lost a lot of cars and homes and things like that.
Certainly, although when you talk to them, a lot of them are saying this is really the best case scenario as well. They're just happy that there weren't people in those homes who were significantly hurt or killed in this plane crash and resulting fires. But yes, people have lost things and they have been out of their home for a long time. I am right here outside of the Murphy Canyon Chapel. You can see a lot of cars parked here, a lot of police cars, etc. This is right next door to the Armed Services YMCA. So this whole area has kind of become the staging area for all of the different emergency crews. And inside the chapel has become kind of a makeshift evacuation center. And I spoke to one family who's been here since very early this morning.
We were hearing some popping noises. Next thing you know, we hear banging on our door. So we're like, what's going on? So I went and looked out, and next thing I know, I see my car on fire. And so at that point, we grabbed my kids, get out. We didn't know if the car, we didn't know what was going on, so we didn't know if the car was going to explode further.
Pretty scary. Rakan Agrabawi, his wife Kelly, and kids Oliver and Eliza are just one of the several families who came here to the Murphy Canyon Chapel this morning after being evacuated from their home. One of the people who works here at the chapel told me when he heard about the crash, he lives nearby, he just immediately ran over and opened up the doors so families would have a safe place to go. This isn't an official evacuation center, but they are welcoming people. As Rakan mentioned, his car is one of the many that went up in flames. And he says when they ran out of their home, they didn't have any shoes. They were able to get some here. They let their dog Leo outside so he wouldn't be trapped inside the home in case that fire spread to the home. But he said officers with the San Diego Humane Society later let Leo back in.
At least he's away from the toxic fumes. We know he'll be safe in the house. So him being here would have a lot of anxiety. So as much as we would want him here, at least he's inside and not around the fumes anymore. So I kind of feel bad that I left him out. But at the time, I was thinking, again,
so he could get out.
House gets on fire.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how much time we had. So.
Yeah, definitely frightening moments for a lot of pet owners in this neighborhood. Pets are certainly like family, and the assistant fire chief told me earlier, you know, when they evacuate a neighborhood, they make sure they get everybody out, the pets too. So the San Diego Humane Society also removed several pets, again, from the evacuated area. They are working to decontaminate animals now that were exposed to toxic chemicals. The last update that we got from them was that they have given at least 8 dogs a bath that were exposed to those toxic chemicals. And again, when you heard from Rakan, he was really concerned about the fumes in the air as well. So he was happy his dog had been able to get back inside and away from those fumes. So certainly that's a concern. Now, if you are exposed to those fumes, if you have concerns, if you notice an especially strong smell, or if you find plane parts near your home, you are asked to call their non-emergency line for the San Diego Police Department, 619-231-2000. I believe it's 2000. Make sure that you give that number a call so that you can let them know, because they want to make sure they can find all the pieces and parts of this plane, and as they piece together exactly what happened and led to this crash. Reporting live in Murphy Canyon, I'm Audra Stafford, NBC7.
Audra, thank you. Another place where we are seeing evacuated families gather right now is down the street from where the crash occurred, and this is at Miller Elementary.
We now turn to NBC7's Dana Williams, who's part of our team coverage right now. We see donations and people are very anxious to give to these families that are now in need.
Yep, Marianne, Steve, like you said, this is Miller Elementary. There are so many resources here for those families because you've heard it time and time again this morning. These are military families. This is a resilient, tight-knit community. They also know what to do when something like this happens. They're very, very adaptive. So we just kind of wanted to walk around here this morning and show you some of the organizations that were quick to come out here just hours after these families had to leave their home unexpectedly. We have the USO, we have Liberty Military Housing that actually operates the housing area where the plane crashed. We have 0800, all of them giving out, you see, treats, donuts, coffee, even the basics, diapers, car seats. A little goes a long way in these situations. We've seen people out here today, they don't even have shoes on, kids in their pajamas. And that's another part of this. There are a ton of families. And so a lot of the items that we're also seeing people coming, making donations. You see Huggies, you see Pampers, you see baby shampoo. We don't know when these families will get to go back into their homes. And so any of these items are going to be a huge help in the relief that people have when they walk up and they see that they can grab any of these items. It's just incredible. And like I said, for a lot of folks, this was their first stop this morning. And so we actually spoke with a few people who told us what they saw at their homes, 3 a.m., when it was dark and fiery in their neighborhoods. This is what they had to tell us.
From me to you is how close it was. My lawn was on fire. When I saw a beam of light, and then it was a bigger boom than lightning, which we originally thought it was lightning. But then I opened the door, I see my neighbor's car explode. Stuff is on fire. First thing I do is run upstairs, grab my children, my wife, and I'm in my underwear.
I heard like this like big bang like behind me, and like lots like sounds outside, and I was like, what the heck is going on? I was like, am I gonna die? Are we gonna like make it out of the fire, or like are we gonna like get our house back at least?
The Navy did help as far as like preparing me for, certain aspects and stuff. I've been in for about 8 years now, so it prepared me for a certain amount of stuff. Just never nothing to where it's, it's actually your home.
800, okay? Yep. So those were the terrifying moments that so many people say they experienced. You cannot even imagine. But like that last man just said, he serves with the Navy. He says they're trained on these sort of situations, but you never think it's going to happen right outside your home with his kids inside. We're actually joined now with a representative from 0800. Her name's Ashley. Ashley, we were just talking that this is a temporary fix, right? This is an elementary school. They're going to need to get back to school. But 0800 wants to find a way for people to still be able to donate. Can you tell them where else they might be able to donate?
So if you go on 0800.org, you can make a financial donation. But more importantly, this is a coordination of all of these nonprofits. The Armed Services Wise, Support the Enlisted Project, the San Diego Food Bank, the San Diego Feeding San Diego. Like all of these individuals have come together and organized a group where we have a collaborative effort that begins now, but continues after. So we want to make sure what you donate gets to those families who will be not just displaced today, but as they figure out how to pick up the pieces to what is next for them, that we can get them what they need. If it's car seats and dog food and food cards to be able to go to the store after this and have a semblance of just like the things that they lost today, they may get that back in time. I know cars were affected and things like that, but these are military families, so these nonprofits can help. You can find this all coordinated through the San Diego Military Advisory Council as well. That's where the group is coordinated through. But any of those entity websites are going to get the things that are donated right to those families now and throughout the week.
And Ashley, you mentioned a Murphy Canyon location. Can you tell us what exactly that location is, and is that for people to pick up or drop off?
So right now, Miller Elementary is the primary place people are coming, as you can see right now. But as this kind of settles, and these nonprofits that are in the area, we're one of them. We're at 4699 Murphy Canyon Road inside the United Way. You can drop that off. It's not going to look like this. It's going to look like a business, but that's going to be like the long-term things that we can, again, we'll be in contact with the Navy. We'll work with them in coordination to see what remains. We'll get back out to the community to say, here's what they need, or just thank you so much for what you did, because they have what they need.
Ashley, thank you. I literally caught her as she was going to deliver bottles. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And that is just the prime example of all of the effort that's happening here and happening so quickly. Like you heard from the folks who were out here, there's still so much shock as to what happened, but at least they come here. The people who serve our country, protect our country, now being served by the community. So it's a really beautiful thing to see here. But for now, that's what we have. Reporting live from Miller Elementary, I'm Dana Williams, NBC7.
Dana,
Okay,
thank
Dana.
you.
Thanks very much. As many as 50 military families are in need of support after this crash, and San Diego's military community is already stepping up, as you heard there with Dana's interview. Right now, you can donate to a group of nonprofits asking for wipes. In fact, they're asking for 11 car seats to be exact, gift cards, diapers, also non-perishable food items. And you could take it simply to the United Way building that's on Murphy Canyon Road. There you see an address as well, 4699 Murphy Canyon Road, or There you see another address, 9915 Business Park Avenue. The drive is being organized by the San Diego Military Affairs Council, Feeding San Diego, as well as the Armed Services YMCA.
The FAA already on the scene, NTSB investigators arriving shortly. Let's get back to the area that when you talk about it looking like a movie set or something that just doesn't seem real, it's this street behind NBC7's Nicole Gomez. Nicole, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so just to wrap things up, I mean, we heard that press conference just a few minutes ago, and the main headlines out of it, of course, the number of casualties, the number of fatalities. So we know at this point 2 dead, so meaning the pilot and another passenger on board that Cessna, 8 injured. And we understand that mainly there were maybe 2 that were transported from evacuation centers, but the majority of those minor injuries who were just treated on scene here, showing you video of what this scene looked like earlier. So again, the FAA is here investigating. NTSB still en route. This is going to be a long investigation. And we heard city leaders saying that this whole community, especially this particular street, is going to be evacuated for some time, especially those homes that sustained major damage. You know, the one that's on the corner here that everybody keeps talking about. Obviously, this home unlivable at this point. Cars still scattered throughout this street here. But the other point I want to drive home that was brought up during this press conference was that the military members of this community are really the standout heroes, because when you have a situation like the one behind me where it does look like the scene out of a movie or a war zone, firefighters are coming to this scene as if it's a wildfire. They're breaking the whole area into sections and trying to get to people, because again, this happened at 3:45 this morning when the majority of folks were sleeping. So they credit the military members here with their training and knowing how to deal with emergency situations and getting these families out before anybody potentially got hurt. So I want to bring up a sergeant, a Marine sergeant, who was living on this street here behind me. He actually was coming home from his night shift, and minutes later, that's when he heard the boom. He managed to stay calm and collected to get his children, ages 4 and 1, out of the house. It's just a different situation, though, when you're trying to get a whole community and your neighbors out of their homes as well. Go ahead and listen.
I mean, so this is a military household, like complex, right? So there's at least 1 service member per household, but that's 1 for a family of 5. So it's 4 civilians to 1 military member. So they're not used to seeing chaos. They're not used to seeing emergencies like this. So they were panicked, kind of started giving directions to come here, to gather here, so that they can have a safe point. I noticed that the fuel was running downhill, so I directed everybody uphill so that they can get somewhere safe.
So you heard what that Marine sergeant was saying, of just being concerned about safety. And this is the reason why. Take a look at this new video that we just received into our newsroom. It shows all of the vehicles on this street on fire. So when you heard firefighters talking about when they responded and they are seeing the situation in the midst of fog, and they're seeing all of these cars on fire, they're only imagining worst case scenario. So they're trying to find people, going door to door, banging on doors, urging everybody to get out, because when you see a situation like that, when you arrive on scene, you do assume the worst. But thankfully at this point, 2 dead from our latest press briefing, the pilot and another passenger, 8 injured, only 8 injured on the ground, and 2 transported from an evacuation center, 6 minor injuries. So this situation obviously could have been much worse. That sergeant that we spoke to earlier this morning with aviation background was saying when he walked out of his home and he saw the majority of the plane in the street, he knew that pilot must have somehow crash landed it in the street, as opposed to directly hitting any of the homes and potentially saving many lives this morning.
NBC7's Nicole
Yep,
Gomez.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate
You
it.
know, one thing that Chief Wall mentioned this morning is that jet fuel was just pouring down the street. So it's going down, collecting on the curb, which is why cars, every single car on each side of the street was burning up like what you saw.
It was, as we saw with that fresh video into the newsroom, just a horrific scene. We want to check in for the first time with NBC7's chief meteorologist, Sheena Parveen. But Sheena, you're going to start with traffic because there's a number of closures people should still be aware of here.
Yeah, one of them is going to be, well, first of all, that area, but Arrow Drive earlier, we were talking about it being closed. You don't really see much when we take kind of a wide view, but it kind of gives you perspective of where this is. So if you're not familiar with that area, it's right off the 15 Arrow Drive, that exit. So early this morning, that was shut down. Now the plane crash right at Santo Road and Salmon Street. So it's in this area where we have more closures. Santo Road is closed. This happened again shortly after 3:45 this morning. And a lot of these neighborhood streets, as you've seen us show, are closed. So if you're familiar with this area, it's Hancock Elementary that's right nearby. So these are the closures that are going on right now. So if you have to be in this area, just know you're not going to be able to get in at this point. You're going to have to wait until they reopen it, which may be quite a while. So that's what's happening right there. Now let's take a look at your forecast for today, because aside from that, we still have to talk about the weather. Of course, we have temperatures that are a little bit cooler than yesterday at this time. We're starting our cool down heading into your Memorial Day weekend. We're at 72 degrees right now downtown, 83 Poway, 75 Miramar, 67 degrees Encinitas. So not as warm in some spots, 77 degrees right now in El Cajon. So we started out the morning with fog. There was very dense fog also in the area of that crash right before it happened, but also during and even shortly after. But right now the fog is really lifted for a lot of areas. Might still be a little bit hazy though from that early fog. By the afternoon, we'll stay in about the low 80s, inland mid 70s at the coast. Then we head into tomorrow, a little breezy with the onshore winds increasing. That's going to continue to cool us down over the weekend. So for the coast this weekend, upper 60s through your Memorial Day. Inland valleys, mid to low 70s. Next week, by the end of the week, a little bit more of a warm up. Mountains and deserts, breezy tomorrow and a cooler start to the weekend, but we all stay dry.
Thank you, Sheena.
And as a reminder, we are continuing to gather the latest information and video for you to fully understand and comprehend what happened early this morning. One of the latest pieces of video we showed you moments ago, we'll show you it again because you can actually see these military families running from their home moments after this private jet crashed into a neighborhood. Their dogs on the loose, and more than 20 vehicles, as Marianne mentioned just a short time ago, along this neighborhood street in a military housing community catching fire.
We have coverage you count on, so keep it right here on NBC7 and also watch our future broadcasts on NBC7. Also, NBC7.com if you are on the go, and don't forget to download our NBC7 mobile app.
We will be keeping tabs with you throughout the day right here on air. Also, as Marianne mentioned, the various other avenues to get the latest information for you. We are going to join California Live in progress right now. We'll see you soon.
We all relate. We all connect to wanting to be seen and heard. And I think the stories that are real and raw and honest, but also hilarious are the things that I'm drawn to write as a writer and produce. And certainly Hacks falls into that category.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's when it's real and raw and those two are at each other and love each other and hate each other at the same time. It's real.
It's like a marriage.
It's like a marriage.
It's like a marriage. It's like you can't live without them, but then you're like, why? What is wrong with you?
Exactly. I mean, Deborah and Ava have a very interesting, dynamic, intergenerational relationship. And I
love
that's
that.
why I love
So
the show.
relatable. Okay, so you recently went to Rome. We got to talk about this.